This is just a little quick video on how I make carnivore fun for me. I take one 10-pound roll of beef and I cut it into 1-pound packs and freeze it. Tonight I came home, I took 2 pounds out of the freezer. I got my homemade bacon mayo that I pipe back into an empty Hellmann's container. I take my 2 pounds of ground beef, I mix 1 egg in with it. After I mix my egg in, I get it all mixed up and put it on just a plate over here. And I use my counter and make my counter wet. It's dried up now. And then I'll take and I'll make these flat patties. I'll do 4 half-pound patties, and I'll take just a simple glass and cut a hole in the center of it. And then I'll reform it, and then I'll take it over here to the skillet, and I'll actually drop an egg down in the center of it, and I'll cook it just to make it fun, just to make it interesting, something different, so it's not the same thing over and over. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll do it for you. They're just... So there's egg in the beef, and there's egg in the center of the beef. And I make them a little runny, so whenever I go to cut into them, the egg busts out into the beef. So now, what I'll do is I'll show you how I do this. Can be tricky. Uh-oh. Got my little patties burning over there. This is one of the little leftover nuggets. So now I'll take my spatula and I'll try to fish this thing off the counter without breaking it apart. But that's okay, you can reform it in the pan. Now I'll take this and I'll drop it in the pan. Trying to keep my body out of the picture. Now I'll take my egg, crack it, and then as it's cooking, I'll take some of this grease that's on the side. I'll actually start spooning it up here on top of this yolk. I'll go ahead and start pre-cooking some of this stuff on top. And I'll let it sit there and brown for a little bit, you know. I'll put my lid on it. Let it heat up a little. Let it kind of cook the top some. My brand new stove. We haven't had this stove for a week, and I'm already over here getting grease all over it. But that's the joy of getting something new. You get to tear it apart, or tear it up. And then if you want, you can season it with something. It's not pure carnivore, because it does have some vegetable like red pepper, garlic, but a lot of carnivores will add seasoning to their food. This is Slap Your Mama Hot Seasoning. It's my very favorite seasoning. And as you can see in the ingredients, I'm kind of more on the purist side than anything. You won't find me using anything with maltodextrin or sucralose or xylitol or any kind of maltodextrin in my seasonings or anything like that. It's just straight regular seasoning. Salt, red pepper, black pepper, and garlic. No MSG. From a Louisiana company, all natural. And if it breaks apart, you just fish it back together. I probably didn't leave it together long enough to really get good, real good sear out of it. Got to put my edges back together a little bit. This is how I have fun with carnivore. Now, this is all animal products, so I'm not really worried about, I don't count anything. What I did with this mayo, the reason it's coming out so easy is I actually preheated it up by setting it over by the stove where I was cooking, and it got it real soft, so it just squirts out of there like that. What I've done is I've made bacon mayo so long now that I've pretty much perfected it. It doesn't come out like this every single time, but here's one of my most recent failures. I made it, I perfected it a little bit more and more and more, and then finally I gave up and I said, you know, I'll come back to it. And then I came back to it and I got it just right. And put some icing in a piping bag. I piped it into this Hellman's container. And what I used was 1 cup of bacon grease, 2 egg yolks, 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon of mustard. I know that's not carnivore, but I do make an exception for some things. And then I blended up all the ingredients, and then I slowly drizzled in the warm bacon grease, and it started actually thickening, and then it was so amazing. It was just phenomenal. Alright guys, that's it. I'm going to eat my food. This is 2 pounds of beef, 5 eggs, and probably 2 or 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Anyhow, bon appetit. Keto on, carnivore on, and remember, you have to live your life, not anybody else, so live it.